This is the first Harry Bosch book. It's called The Black Echo. Basically, a detective finds a dead guy, tries to figure out who the murderer is.
Yeah,
and it's
dead guy's his old mate.
Dead guy's and his old mate, and they were in the army together in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Do a little review or give me a rating, and then we'll unpack it, because there's a lot to unpack. I feel.
Yeah, there's quite a bit to this. I fucking love this book and the series. So I guess a bit of backstory on Harry Bosch is like a few years earlier he was like the top homicide detective, or one of them, and then he accidentally kills. I don't know if it was an accident actually, but he kills like
he kills a
serial killer suspect.
Yeah.
And I won't go too much into it because that's covered in
He's
book 3.
Disgraced kind of thing.
Yeah, and like because there was a couple things he did wrong. He didn't call him for backup and stuff. So like he was. And
he also sort of went in without a proper warrant or something. Yeah, or something like
that. Yeah. So he's like put to Hollywood Division, which is kind of like just kind of like the shit ones that no one really cares about.
Yeah.
But he still takes his job like really seriously. And one thing, and this is throughout the series as well so far, is like he does what's right,
not
like what's just, not necessarily what the law is.
Yeah.
For example, with Wish at the end.
Yeah.
Like, well, I guess that kind of veers towards more the law, but like, because she was like the mastermind, right?
Yeah, she was the mastermind.
She wasn't necessarily responsible. Like she was a little bit, but for like she didn't want anyone to die or anything.
She set it up, but she didn't create the murders, kind of thing.
It like went out beyond her control.
Well, so yeah. Anyway, what would you rate it? And
well, I gave it an 8 initially. I honestly want to give it a 9 in hindsight.
I want to give it. Go. Yeah.
Just like the detail of like how it explains Harry like analyzes the crime scene and like goes through these details, and I like how he's not like the smartest, toughest or whatever guy.
Yeah.
He's just like so consistent, and he actually cares about getting it done.
Yeah. And
he's not afraid to like.
But he questions himself as well, and I feel like he is a flawed character that has real problems that. Yeah.
What do you give it?
Well, that's a hard one for me, because when I did it, and I initially was having problems getting into it, and then when I did the whole thing, I was that was really, really good. And I want to give it an 8.5 or a 9. I don't know on which side I'm leaning, because the thing is, I had a real problem with the ending of it. But the reason why I had a problem with the ending was as a reader, and you're like, oh no, he didn't get the bad guy, or he didn't do that.
Right.
But that, for me, makes it a better book, because the story was done so well that I got some kind of emotional reaction from it. Yeah. And really, there's a lot of, and we've talked about it before in book reviews, there's moments in these books, connective moments, and those moments seem very strong as well. Like when I said about Legend, there's really good moments, and the Abercrombie books, there's really good moments. It seems like all those are strung together really well. And because I did the 20th year edition or 10th year edition or something like that.
Okay.
And the quote from whoever was doing the introduction for it at the start was like, there's a dial on the reader's head, and you turn that dial to whoever character you're reading at the time. And it did feel like that. Like when you become Sharky, where you're reading Sharky's area, like you go through some shit, you know?
Yes, some sympathy, but
yeah,
because like he's like part of this gang or whatever that like trick gay men into like going with them, and then they beat them up and steal their shit, right?
Yeah.
But obviously, like, he had a tough life leading up to that, so it's like
he did.
Kind of conflicted about how you should feel about Sharky.
The world's so grey as well. Like, the world is so absolutely grey. Like, the way
it's real life.
It is real life. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'll give it a 9. Maybe I'll just give it a 9. It's very close to a 10 for me. It was fantastic, because the thing is, all the things that I wanted answered were answered. The moments were great in it. The character was not overpowered, and I felt like he had there was a true sense of danger in it. But then there was also those moments where the character was actually ahead, and he's like, "Oh, I know that there's someone following me because I've checked in the rear vision mirror, and the two investigative FBI guys are there." And then when he ties them up on that tree and like confronts them,
or internal affairs,
yeah, and he confronts them. That was interesting as well, because he's pinning them for something, and you think, "Oh shit, this guy is really, really smart." And then you find out later on that bug's not from them. And like, even when you when you're rolling along and you're thinking that there's something smart that he's done, it just turns out to be coincidence or whatever. You know.
But he's like smart enough to get to a certain point, but he's like, like he's come to the right conclusion based on the information he does know. Yeah. But it's not quite right.
Yeah, I think he's. It's. You know what? I think it's rare to go into a book like that and enjoy a character that's fleshed out in a book where you don't actually learn a lot about the character from the story at all.
Right.
Like, a lot of the stuff that you learn about him is expositional. Like, he's got his house from him selling the rights to his first or second case or whatever. To a Hollywood,
like a TV show.
To a TV show or something like that. That's how he gets his house. And like, then you find out that he likes jazz records because someone else is in his house, and you say, "Oh, you like jazz records," you know. And he becomes a fleshed out character by those pepperings, and it's almost when they try and teach you detective writing. They tell you to write it backwards and be like, "Oh, pepper the story through with clues." It's like you get clues to his life that way, and the actual clues of the story are somewhere in the ether, and then you find them out along the way. And I really enjoyed that. But like, something that he may perceive as a clue is fucking not, and it's just the ether that actually holds the thing together.
Right.
And even going and visiting the farm where the Vietnam people, like, you have some kind of suspicion about like the leader there,
right? And
he has suspicions about them because he's getting investigated about this person who he thought would leave this rehabilitation camp and go back to normal life.
Right.
And that all feels like a big red herring. It all feels like a big well, not red herring. It feels like a big clue, right? And it doesn't turn out to be. It turns out to be coincidental kind of thing later on. Like, just very well done. Very well done. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
I can't fault it really.
What do you think of Jerry Edgar?
Is that
his partner?
I was gonna say something.
Black guy, real estate.
Yeah, I thought that was great as well.
Yeah, I really like Jerry Edgar as a character. Like, there's not a whole lot of him, but like, he's just so fun to read.
Is he in the other books as well? Like,
yeah, he's in the.
And how are you a detective and not fucking doing that full time? How are you a detective and then like a real estate guy as well? Like,
there you go.
Like, that's the other thing. Like, and it doesn't get answered, some of that stuff.
Yeah. I just love the atmosphere or vibe of this book.
That's what I mean. Like, there was like something in the.
There's horrible shit happening, but like, just the almost like intimate moments of like him investigating something or him thinking about something or whatever. Just, I don't know, it's really fun to read.
It is fun to read, and there's a weird kind of like the way they find the bodies, or the way certain things are described, almost cinematic, like him finding the body in a sewer tank and it's like covered in like garbage and stuff like that, and whatever else. That seemed very cinematic, especially with like, it seemed like the opening to a movie. Like, there's this big pipe and there's a guy spray painting a wall, and then it's like he's sniffing the glue or the paint,
and then he calls up.
It just seemed very cinematic, and it seemed it just aided the story really well. And like, they even happens in another one. You know.
And I really liked the visuals of the ending where he's like, and it connects back like they're in the tunnel, and like he's trying to find the guy in the dark. Does he have night vision or something?
Yeah, he gets a night vision from killing a guy or something. Yeah,
and he's like following them, and then he gets like shot and all that. But like, just the visuals of that, I thought were really well done. Visuals.
Yeah. Yeah, just really good. Like them, like tunnel rats tunneling in to get gold. Like it's a very basic idea, but it's a very cool idea. It's like they know their stuff because they did that, and like learning little bits about the darkness as well, like, and learning little bits about like this war hero. It was almost, I wasn't a war hero, it's a soldier, but it was almost as if Harry was paying him back as well. Like that whole, I never went into the tunnel to find him, and then some other Marines found him like weeks later, and he got a bit mad.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, I'm finding out who killed him.
Yeah.
For this guy, I'm paying him back, and it was that sense of morality. It was really good. I also liked how it didn't shy away from him having sex with Wish as well. Yeah. But for me, I felt like it would have been a little bit cooler if they did describe some of that sex stuff. I just like it would have given it like a bit more something else. It would have given it something else. Like the thing that this book lacks is a little bit of like levity.
Okay.
Like there could have been a few more jokes in it.
Right.
But like I said, you know, there's a murder thing, and it is quite dark as it is. But yeah, it could have done with like a little bit of sex in it, I think. Okay. Yeah, but that's my only criticism now. Yeah. Yeah, it was very, very good.
Yeah. I think it's me. It's one of my favorite series.
Yeah, not bad. And I think this one was done. This one was narrated by Titus Weller, the guy who does the TV show.
Oh, okay. So the one I listened to, which I don't think is on Audible anymore, was a different guy.
Oh, yeah. So, but I listened to the second one with that guy, so it was alright. It was okay. I mean, it's still very good. Very, very good.
Like Dick something, or
something like that. But there was actually like an interview with the guy, Titus Weller, and Michael Connelly at the end, or at the start of the thing, and that was interesting in itself. Like they had to update the character because they couldn't have him be a tunnel rat in the TV show because it's set in
of course, yeah.
But like, all of those things are really interesting that they did, and they grew to be the character for that TV show world. And like, even though the main character had the actor had tattoos, they kept those tattoos on him, and they became a part of Harry Bosch for TV. Like those were like Harry Bosch's tattoos. Right. Yeah.
So I think for the TV show they merge a couple books per season.
Oh, right.
Because like I watched the first episode, and from what I can tell, it was like book 3, and then a couple other books I haven't read yet.
Oh, okay, but it makes sense for book 3 as well, though, eh? Because that's sort of like the start of Harry. Yeah. Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, actually, just I loved how the IAD guys got their comeuppance.
Towards the end,
they're like thinking they're gonna catch Harry and bust him.
Oh, they die.
But they wander into this gunfire.
Yeah, or like get hurt or something. But you know what's funny is that like all those guys get promotions. They all those guys get heralded as like heroes of the Force.
Protect the image of the Force.
That was crap. But like, as a character, as a story, you enjoy that because it's giving you that.
Yeah. I mean, this is set right around, I don't know if it's right before or right after the Rodney King stuff, where like the police departments
crooked as fuck, yeah.
Definitely need a bunch of reform.
Yeah, no, cool, man. It was really good.
Yeah.
It's the end of that one.